Hey, patrons, thank you so much for your support. Jennifer Galbraith and I, who is a wonderful herbalist from South Carolina, we just recorded a podcast where she shared her fantastic knowledge with us about herbs and wild herbs, supporting yourself as an herbalist, all those kinds of things, and also what she does. So if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to go to thewanderschool.com and check out the podcast and the blog article that goes along with it. And as one of your bonuses, because I appreciate you so much, you get this extra interview. And I asked Jennifer what she wanted to talk about, and she said that she wanted to talk about her homeschool curriculum. And I'm super excited because there's this phrase that I keep saying like practically every day in these crazy times, which is now more than ever. And so now more than ever,
For sure.
we need botanical education for our kids. And so, of course, just like finding ways to keep ourselves sane as parents, finding ways to educate and entertain our children, and just, introducing them to the plants. So, and of course, I always say, like, just having the opportunity to run around outside is a great education in itself, but sometimes you need a little bit more structure. So Jennifer's going to tell us about the program that she designed, which I think is freaking amazing. And also some tips and tricks for us just in general, how we can get more plant-based education into our children. So, yeah, thanks again, Jennifer, for being here.
Thank you.
And go for it. Tell us what you got.
All right. So the curriculum that I wrote, it's called A Year in the Wild, and I have some of it here. So this is actually just the summer, because there's lots of different ways you can buy it. You can buy the whole year, you can buy seasonal, and you can buy monthly. But I wrote this as a way to get children more in touch with nature and learning about herbs and learning about the world around them. And in this, there's different ways that help your child observe what's going on, the changes in seasons, the changes in animal habits, and that sort of thing. And the more that they get involved in that and learn about that, the more they're going to care about it. If they see, their little squirrel friend that they've been watching all year, going around gathering their nuts and doing this and that and the other thing, they're going to be more likely to want to make sure that that squirrel's habitat is safe and taken care of as well. So I just think it's so important that the adults who know this stuff, or maybe don't know some of this stuff, and you can, especially with something like this, you can be learning along with them, that we need to pass this on, because it's such a technological age right now, that just getting kids outside and learning and wanting to keep things, nice and safe for everybody. I think it's so important. And we did talk about, you were asking about, how to get kids involved. Now, not all kids are gonna love it. And I think what we as parents need to do is show them how much we love it. And you can't expect to just send your child who's addicted to video games outside by themselves and think they're gonna have a good time. You need to be out there with them and show them, go and do something fun with them, take them to a park, get them involved with, there aren't quite as many right now, but if you can get involved with other children, especially children their age that are outside, I think that's really helpful. But sometimes you really have to just show them what to do. Like, hey, let's go build a fort together, or hey, let's go look at this plant, or get excited about a butterfly, and show them the butterfly and talk about the colors. Because I don't think a lot of children nowadays are really naturally programmed to do that anymore. So you have to, as a parent, you need to have an active role in showing that to your children and teaching them and getting them excited to be outside.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I'm so glad you said that. It sounds so great. I want to just get the curriculum just for me. So I might do that because honestly, I don't feel like we take that time, right?
Right.
You know, there's this thing called a sit spot, which you could definitely introduce to your kids and to yourself, where you just go and find a spot to sit out in nature for 20 minutes a day, which to some of us sounds like an extremely long time.
Yeah.
But the more you do it, the more interesting it is. And it's amazing how just sitting in the same spot, you see so many different things from day to day and minute to minute. So yeah, I think that's really important. And I'm wondering if there are any other practices that you could recommend to start engaging kids in nature.
So, I mean, the easiest thing to do if they really are hesitant um, to going outside, you know, let's say, is start by observing through a window. You can have one specific window in your house, apartment, whatever you're in, and just observe it, even if it's just weekly in the beginning. But you're going to see different plants that are growing that weren't growing the last time you looked, or different animals or different things. And then they can kind of see like, oh, there might be some exciting stuff going on outside. Like, oh, let's go look at that closer, you know, if they see something, and start getting them outside. But a lot of times I think children don't think there's anything fun to do outside, but there's so many fun things to do, you know, that don't involve your having your face in a screen. And there's also a lot of online games and resources. If you wanted to start there, start showing them videos, YouTube videos of animals and stuff like that, to get them more interested. And that way they are still comfortable. They have their screen, they are comfortable. And then say, let's go see if we can find that outside. And, you know, maybe we have that in our yard, you know, and it just starts small. I think parents get overwhelmed when their child isn't interested in something, and they just end up getting very overwhelmed and think, well, they couldn't spend an hour outside today. That's okay, even if it's 5 minutes, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. And but you know, if you got something, and it doesn't have to be mine, but if you got a curriculum like this where you can just pull out bits and pieces that interest them, there's different activities, there's nature-based activities in here, there's journal prompts in here, stuff about the full moon. So that could be something fun, because then you're only doing it once a month, you know, and you're starting to get them excited, like, oh, it's a full moon tonight, we get to do a party or whatever, you know. So, you know, just something like that where you're just kind of doing a little bit at a time, and don't beat yourself up if they really aren't receptive to it in the beginning.
Yeah, those are such great ideas. I know it does take a while, and I think it's like any new habit, right? It's doing it over and over again, maybe for 30 days in a row. But also, like you said, I love the creating ritual part of it. So keeping track of the moon cycles, and like maybe having a full moon party every month, even if
Right.
it's just you and your family, you know, and creating special rituals around that. So I love that. And that's something that kids will remember for the rest of their lives. So it's really, really fun. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'll put a link to the website in this post, but do you want to just go ahead and tell folks where they can find your curriculum?
Sure. So my website is meadowlarkfarmssc.com. And you can click the link on there. I am also offering your patrons for Patreon a special coupon that's just for them. And so if you go on there and use the coupon code WanderSchool, you will get 40% off for the full year curriculum. So that's a little deal just for them.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
I hope you all take advantage of that. Really super important work that Jennifer is doing. And like you said, and like they say in Last Child in the Woods, it's, to paraphrase, it's something like will only preserve what we have a connection with, you know, what we know. So if we
Right.
don't know it, if we don't have a connection with it, we're not as likely to preserve it. So it's so important to get kids connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks so much for doing that
Thank
great
you.
work and for talking to us. So go check out what Jennifer's doing. And the link is right below the post. So thanks, Jennifer.
Bye.
Bye.